Hi, Jake the Foxy here. I'm in the game Plasma for a second time, and I have a new minigame to show you. I managed to build a functional roulette wheel based on physics, and it happens to be just right over this way. So the reason why I wanted to build a roulette wheel is because I've always been fascinated with probability and games of chance and things like that. But I've been somewhat disappointed that most digital simulations of roulette just seem to use a random number generator. So I thought it would be cool to actually try to simulate a physical wheel to study how it works. And I thought about using Unity or something like that. But then I realized I could just build a wheel in Plasma. So I did. Now, I probably shouldn't have to mention this, but you shouldn't gamble unless it's legal and you know what you're getting yourself into. And you definitely shouldn't gamble with this wheel here. This is just a toy. For one thing, I had to make many compensations just to get it to work in Plasma. Like a traditional wheel has 38 numbers on it, including the two house numbers, whereas this one here only has 32. But enough of that, let me show you how it works. Now, this is a much simpler interface than most of my Plasma projects, as there's just a single button. And pressing that button causes it to release a ball, and it looks like it landed in red 23? I think it was red 23. Yep, red 23. So you see what happened there. If I can show you again. Looks like it's black 29 this time? I'm not sure. But yeah, the ball falls into a hole there in the back. And then these lights flash. And both the number and the color show up on the back monitor there. So I'll show you one more time just to show it working. And let's see, that's a red number. I couldn't tell which one. Red 30, all right. Okay, so for this next one, we'll try following it a bit closer so you can actually see it working. And see, oh look, it landed in the 00. Okay. Well, that will be a clear one to show then. And see, there's this hole back here that it drops into. The ball gets deleted, and the number shows up right there, like I said. So just do that one more time, and you can see here, red 18. Now, the numbers might be a little bit confusing, but the number actually refers to the slot above where the number is printed. So red 18. And that's just because that's the only way I could get it to work without the labels obstructing the path of the ball. And one thing that you can do with this roulette wheel that you can't do that you're not allowed to do in regular roulette is that you can release multiple balls at once. Now, I could have restricted it so you could only release one at a time, but I thought this was kind of cool, so I just kept that as a feature. And as you can see, oh dear, it glitched out a little bit there. So yeah, sometimes that can happen with the number detecting system if you release too many balls at once. So if you're wanting to play fair, you really should only release one at a time. Red 27. There we go. And now there was a few different ways that I could have tried going about making this roulette wheel. I wanted to try using a cone to build it. I mean, my original plan was to use a cone like this and flatten it down until it was basically a gently sloping disc in order to get the ball to actually roll into the pockets. But as you can see here, I can only adjust the scale. I can't flatten the cone at all, so maybe that's something that they'll add in later versions of the game. It's still early access after all, so no need to worry about that. But then I had a stroke of genius and I thought, hey, instead of getting the ball to roll downhill, maybe I could use fans to push the ball instead. As you can see, there's a set of 3 fans around the back edge that remain fixed, and there are 4 fans in the center that rotate with the wheel. And those combined together make things pretty random. So it's pretty hard to predict which way the ball will go with all the crosswinds interfering with each other and stuff. And you also may have noticed, since I was doing this, that every time I press a button, this arm up here extends to a different random position to drop the ball. And that's just adding another different bit of randomness to it to make the results even more unpredictable. It also takes a different amount of time when you press the button, like that was very short, and other times when I press it, it travels a much greater distance, so it doesn't always release the ball as soon as you press the button. And that just helps prevent people from gaming the system, trying to release the ball at a certain time so it always goes into the same numbered hole. But that pretty much covers how the roulette wheel functions, so why don't we check out the sketch to see how all of it actually works? So, here's a sketch for the roulette wheel, and this is already quite a bit simpler than last time, at least compared to the Foxy Wagon. But let me show you each of the sections and explain what they do. Like right here, we start out with the ball release mechanism. So it detects when the button is pressed, and then it generates a random number, and that indicates the target position for the extending arm that moves back and forth. And once the arm reaches its target position, when it's done moving, it spawns the ball. So basically this just describes in sequence exactly what you saw happen earlier in the video. And down here, this is the ball deleting mechanism, which is what you saw happen when the ball fell into the hole in the back. I'm basically using a death ray here to delete the ball, and the main reason why I'm doing that is so the machine just doesn't spawn infinite balls and wind up lagging out the game or something like that. But it does also serve a second purpose in that it helps us to detect when the ball leaves the wheel, which is important for both controlling the display in the back and causing the lights to blink. But as you can see here, we use this text array decomposer to get the name of the object that the death ray is looking at, and then we just use this comparator here to see if it is detecting a sphere, because that's the default name of all the balls that wind up getting generated, and when it detects one, it fires and deletes the ball. So, pretty simple. And up here we have the control for the blinking lights. At the same time the death ray fires, it starts this timeline, which just goes through these triggers and causes the lights to blink on and off. That gets passed through a relay and written to a variable writer. And the only reason why I'm using variables is because there's several lights around, and this is just easier than having a bunch of wires connected to all the lights. So this way I only just need 2 wires to control the one variable, and I'm able to control all the lights synchronously with that one variable. And down here, this is perhaps the most complicated part of the whole sketch. This is the only part that actually requires any sort of Lua code, and this is the number detector. Basically what we're doing here is we're using the position of the roulette wheel when the ball gets deleted to try and figure out exactly which number the ball landed on. And you can see the code for that here. At the top, I just store all of the numbers and their corresponding colors in a giant table that we can look up easily. And as you can see, it basically just does what I said. It looks at the angle and does a bit of math to try and calculate an index into that array up there. And then it reports which number it is and shows it on the screen. And there's a little bit of special cases for like if a double zero comes up and stuff like that. But apart from that, the code is pretty straightforward. And then it just passes the output here into a selector to choose which color should be shown for the background of the screen. And the number just gets passed straight through. I could have had the Lua function output a color as well, but this felt easier and gives a more visual indication of what's going on, I felt. And that's basically how the whole sketch works. Sometimes it can happen that the number detector gets off by 1 or something. But if that happens, then just reset the roulette wheel and everything should go back to normal. I've been testing it pretty well, and the number detector is surprisingly accurate. I'm rather pleased with how well it's turned out. So I have here an earlier test build of the roulette wheel. As you can see, it looks quite a bit different from the finished version. For one thing, there's an extra button here, and the wheel isn't spinning. But if I press this square button here, the wheel will start right up. And notice in the background I have this display that's currently counting up. What that's doing is it's telling me the rotation of the wheel in degrees. So it'll count up to 360, and then when the 0 number passes by the back here, it'll reset to 0. See, it just did that again. And when I press this main circular button here, it will release a ball just like normal, and it looks like it landed in red 14. Okay, so that's our number. Now if we wait for that to go all the way around to the back, you'll see the wheel stops as soon as the ball gets deleted. And now we know that a position of 245 degrees roughly corresponds to the ball falling into the red 14 pocket. And if I press the button again while it's not spinning, it'll just drop a ball, and, well, not the whole device. I can grab the ball like that and plop it in whichever pocket I want. So I'll put it in red 14 again. And now I can start the wheel back up. And this is basically how I was able to figure out how to calculate which pocket the ball fell into based on the wheel's rotation. And there you go, 243.4. So you can see it's not exact. We did not get the same number again. There is some slight variance there, but it still works fairly well, because what we're doing is we're taking the floor of that function and then using that to create an index into a table. So there's already some degree of leeway there, so that kind of helps smooth out any variance. And for the most part, it seems to be incredibly accurate, at least as far as my tests have shown. I also built this automatic roulette wheel over here, which you may have heard in the background. And basically all it does is just release a ball at a randomly determined interval. And it'll just keep on doing that forever. It also counts up how many times the ball lands in each of the pockets here. So you can see I have a display for each of the pockets that it's landed in, and it just counts up those numbers. So you see we've gotten about 31 spins since I started this video. And I basically just left this running overnight for about 1,000 spins. And I did this just to see how well balanced the wheel actually is. And there seems to be certain numbers that come up more often than others, but it is, at the same time, it's at least hitting all of the numbers, so it's not like there's a dead zone that it can't reach or anything. So I'm really not sure whether or not the variance is due to some flaw in my design or just statistical randomness. I'd probably need a much larger sample size to be able to tell anything. So I'm just going to play a bit of roulette now so you can see the wheel in action once again and see what sort of numbers we can get. Alright, I'm going to bet on red. And we're starting out getting the house numbers. Great. Alright, well, I'm still betting on red. I feel like red's going to come up. Alright, let's see here. And, ooh, black 20. See, I would not have won that. I've missed on the first two. Come on, we have to be due for a red now. Come on, red. There we go. Red 27, it looks like. Send out the next one. Still on red. I still feel like red's probably lucky. No, black 2. Okay, see, this is why you shouldn't gamble. I've only won once. Alright, red. Come on, we gotta get a red. No, not another black. I should have bet on black this time, apparently. Okay, this time I'll bet on black, because that seems to be hot right now. And of course, as soon as I change it, of course we have to get red, with a red 1 there. I'm still betting on black, though, because that seems to be the hot number. Or the hot color, rather. Okay, 00. Well, that doesn't count. Okay, it still could be black. Let's see. I'll keep going until we get 2 reds in a row, and that will indicate when we should stop. There we go. That was black 28. The arm is kind of blocking the back wheel, the back display there, which is kind of a design flaw, but at least it works at this angle. Okay, that's black 17, it looks like. Yep. Alright, can we get black again? Come on, black. No, we got a green again. The single 0 this time. I've been testing this thing out a bit, and it seems fairly well balanced, fairly random as far as I can tell. It does seem to have a disposition for going to the greens a bit more. And hey, we got another black. But, you know, it seems pretty random. I can't tell at all where the ball is going to go. Oh wait, there's a red. Alright, a red 23. Okay, if we get another red, then we stop. Alright. And, ooh, black. Okay, we keep going. Black 11 there. Come on, black. Alright. Ooh, red, that's not good. A red 16. Alright, will we get another red or another black? Okay. Ooh, that almost went in red there, but it's black. Okay. Alright, did you see how close that was? Alright, what will we get here? Ooh, another black. Okay, I probably shouldn't do this too long because it might get boring and I don't want the video to go on forever. So I'll just do a couple more spins and see what we get. Okay, maybe they'll both be black. Ooh, there we go, another black. Yeah, black 28. Definitely seems like black is the hot color to go for this night. but before when I was testing it, it was red. So it really is quite random, and I never know where it's going to go. Oh, and there's another red, a red 27. Okay, one more spin. Alright, this was the last one, and it's black, yes, okay. A black 28. Well, that pretty much covers it for my roulette wheel video. If you want to be able to download and play with this roulette wheel yourself, I'll try to have the machine posted to the Steam Workshop within a couple of days of when this video first gets published. So if you're watching this later, it's probably already up there. And if you want to see more designs like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I have plenty more ideas for Plasma. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.